Well, hello, all my fluid art friends. It's Doris at DF Designs. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my video. This is a do-over from Saturday. I was very, very unhappy with the problems I had with it. And I went back to a video that I had watched to see what I could do to fix it. And I done figured it out. So this is going to be a do-over of the two-colored one. I might do a do-over in another video of this one. But basically, and this one looks bad because I did the back of it with black. Basically, they're both getting done over. Okay, this is 3mm flat wire. Take your pliers, cover them up with tape, with masking tape, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it right here and bend it, okay? And then I'm going to do it here, getting the pliers snug up in that little bend I just made, and bend it the other way. Basically, you're doing this, you're going back and forth, and you're making a zigzag, okay? So that's all you're doing, and I will fast forward through this part. Well, no, I can't because I gotta show you how I figure out if it's long enough. Sorry. So let me just do this, okay? Because there's one thing I did wrong, well, two things I did wrong, and that's why I had the seepage. And what I'm going to do is after I get my wire bent, then I'm going to dip it in some UV resin after I measure it to make sure. Okay, I'm going to dip it in UV resin. Okay, now. Okay. Now when you clip it, you see about how wide those are. So that's about where you want to clip it at too. And almost lost it. Ha, flew away. Okay, now, see I got my zigzag, but one thing you want to worry about is you want to make sure that it is flat. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it a little bit to see where it's going to fit, okay, before I flatten it out. And okay, I want to bend it a little bit more. Okay, let's see. And that looks good enough. So next thing you want to do before you coat it and put it in there is I'm trying to find, well, I can't find a hard surface. So I'll have to use the back of the lamp again to do this. You want to put it down on a flat surface, okay? And basically you want to take something that's plastic but hard. You don't want to hammer it. You just want to do this rolling to get it all flat. So when you look at it, you can see that there's no gaps underneath it. Okay? So now I'm going to take my dipping pot. This is just regular UV resin in here. It is in a dipping pot that I learned about this from Daniel Cooper. I'm sure everybody watches him, but he got some of these to dip pieces in there. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to let it drip up, most of it drip off. Okay, and I'm going to get a silicone tool to make sure it's pushed down completely. Okay. Let me wipe this off. Now I gotta cut one more piece. So I will, I'll do that on camera, but I'll fast forward it, okay? Let me cover this up while I do one more piece for right here, and I'll be right back. You know what? That's a little bit too big for there. So I'm going to do this one a little different than the other one I did. I'm going to put this one right there. Let me turn it just a little bit. Let me see how it fits. Yeah, that fits good. Okay. So now, and I'm just going to take it off camera and use my bottle to flatten it. Okay. Then I'm going to use my dipping pot. There's my tweezers. There's my tweezers. Okay. It's hard to do these tweezers on skinny stuff. Okay, there we go. Dip it. Let some of the excess drip off. Okay, I'm going to put that piece right on that side of the hole. Okay, that looks good enough. Let me always wipe your tweezers off if they're metal, because you won't be able to cure the UV on there. Okay. Let me tamp it down with this silicone tool. Now I'm also going to give it a really super thin coat of white, just, clear I mean, just to make sure. Just to make sure that I'm not going to have any leakage of colors. And then I'm going to take a little silicone tool and make sure I get that pushed all the way up against the wire. See, those are the two things I didn't do Saturday that I should have done, because that would have kept it, that would have kept the color from seeping. Okay. And let me just make sure this is all spread out. Okay, now all I gotta do is go in here and spread this out. And while you're doing this, look for bubbles. Don't let the bubbles stay in there. I just pushed that down, or pushed it up, I mean. So let me use this to tamp that down and tamp that down. Okay. Now, I'm going to set this for 30 seconds. Now, we are going to mix some colors. Now, you don't want the colors to go over the wires, because it'll leak over into the next section if it goes over the wire too. So you want to be very sparingly with your UV resin. I'm going to do turquoise, yellow, and magenta. So I'm going to need the most of the magenta. So that'll get the most resin in the cup. Okay, and then I don't need that much yellow, so I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in here. And then I'm going to put about an amount between the two sizes in the other cup. There we go. Okay, let me mix up the magenta first, and I remember that it only takes, oops, shake your pigments before you open them. Make sure you get all that colorant in there mixed up. It only takes 1 drop of this, or no, maybe 2, well, okay, I'm going to put 2 drops. Okay. Now the yellow I know is going to take more. The links to everything I'm using is down in the description. That got about 4 drops in it. Now let me get the turquoise. And put 2 drops in that. 1. Come on. 1. Ah! Don't give me a fit. 2. I think I grabbed the right turquoise. No, we'll find out. If I didn't, oh well. The colors aren't mixing together. They're just going to sit next to each other. Okay, there's my toothpicks. Okay, so now I'm going to mix each color with the blunt end of the toothpick. I love using these long toothpicks for this. They are just the perfect size for mixing in these cups. It doesn't matter if you get it a little scratched in the cup, because you're not going to be using it as a mold. Okay. Let me put this down right here so it doesn't get into anything. Now I'm going to do the yellow. And I realize the yellow's very, very hard to see. I still haven't figured out my lighting situation with close-ups like this. So if you were there Saturday, I hope that this shows you the better way to do it. Okay, because I made so many mistakes on Saturday. I don't even want to talk about how many mistakes I made and what I made. Okay, and this was kind of turquoise. It might be the same color, I don't know. Okay, and the first thing I like to do before I put the resin in there, since it's in a cup, is I try to heat it up with a heater. Well, an embossing tool. Usually when it's in the mold, I don't use an embossing tool, or try not to, because I don't want to blow the colorant around, or the colored resin around. Okay, so first we're going to put the turquoise over here. And just, as you're filling it, just make sure it doesn't go higher than the wire. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to put the yellow in the middle. Now it looks like I got a little leak right there at the top. The turquoise going over to the yellow. So let me get this in there quickly. So I don't have to so I can set it so it doesn't leak any more than it is. Now that didn't leak. That was an accident where I accidentally poured it over to the other side. So that's why I got a little yellow in the turquoise. Okay, there's the yellow. Now the last one is the magenta. Okay. I'm just making sure I have no bubbles and that it's all the way from one side of this section to the other. Now see, this is turning out much better. I'm just trying to, I got room for more, for a little bit more in there. That's why I'm trying to get the last little bit out of here. Okay, now I'm going to put my cups right here so I can set them and clean them out. Move my toothpicks, okay? Now I'm going to set this for cure this under the lamp for 2 minutes. Well, it looks like the green leaked out a little bit up here, and then that's where I dropped the yellow on the green side, or turquoise side, I mean, unfortunately. Okay, just cleaning out the cups. This makes it so much easier if you just put your cups under the lamp when you're done, and you can get all these little bits of cured resin out of there. Okay, let me get this one emptied. And all I'm going to do now, because I saw where people like back it with a bunch of mica flakes and stuff like that, but I wanted it to be simplistic. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to put another coat of, another layer, I mean, of clear on top of this to where it goes over the wires right here. Okay, now you go in there, and this I can go ahead and use my heat embossing tool because it's just one layer, one color. Unfortunately, it pushed some of it over the edge, so let me get that back in there. That's why I don't like using the heat embossing tool too much. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just going around making sure to get all the bubbles. And if you can't get it all off right here by scraping it, what you do is you just let it cure, and then you'll peel it off later, just like you did with the cups. That's the neat thing about working with silicone stuff. You can cure it and peel it off, and it's as good as new. Okay, now I'm going to do this for 2 minutes. Okay, and that looks like, let me tap it with something, not my glove, but something that'll make a noise. Okay, this needs just a little bit longer, so I'm going to cure this side for 2 more minutes. Okay, that looks like it's good enough. So now I'm going to take it out of there. Well, really, yeah, I'm going to take it out of there because I think all the other layers are cured too. Okay, it needs cleanup around the edge, but that's very, very easy to do. If there's a lot of it, you can just take your scissors and chip it away. And I will top coat both sides. And I will give it a bail, because I finally got my little pinch bails in. I'll show you the front of it here in a minute. Just trimming up the sides. Okay, and there we go. Isn't that pretty? It does need to first be cured and then a top coat. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, it's still going to need to be domed on the back, but I don't want to bore you with that. It's just, you know, putting more UV resin on it, pushing it up to the edge, which I didn't get it to right there, which means I got to fix that now. It's just adding a little bit more clear UV resin, but I hope that you learn the right way to do this from me. I'm looking for something I can put it on that it might... Nope, that's not going to show up good. Okay, because my pink gloves are not conducive to the coloring in this. There we go. So, thank you all for coming out and watching me redo this and fix my boo-boos, okay? I want to give a shout out to my grands, which is Devin, Alyssa, Tony, Jameson, Marley, and Rivy. Grandma loves you, and all I can say is, bye for now. Love you, Bentley. Wink, wink.